Number 6 UConn women's basketball lost to number 20 Maryland at Maryland. Maryland was coming off of a loss at home recently, so they have not lost back-to-back home games in 13 years. And UConn was 7-0 against Maryland. But today, the result was different because this was the first win for Maryland women's basketball over UConn in their entire history. They're now 1-7. What in the world happened in this game? The final score was 85-78, by the way. And I did put a note out there on UConn women's basketball I only had earlier that they only have 7 players available for this game. UConn in the first quarter started strong, 19-15 lead. But second quarter, Maryland scored 28 points when UConn had 17. So they had a 43-36 lead at half. UConn in the second half scored 42 combined points, 22 in the third quarter, 20 in the fourth. Maryland only had, they scored 42 points also. 19 in the third, 23 in the fourth. So it really doesn't really matter. If you're giving up that many points and you score that many, it's doing no good. UConn shot the ball 53.4% from the field, 31 for 58 on overall. They were getting inside more because they had a height advantage and they were 3 for 10 on threes. They ain't gonna cut it. 13 for 15 on free throws, 46 rebounds, 11 of those offensive, 21 assists. That's a great mark. But once I get to the turnovers in a minute, you'll know it's not that great compared to the turnovers. 2 steals in the game, 3 blocks, 22 turnovers in the game. 22. Just imagine all those points off turnovers. 15 fouls. They only had 10 bench points. Maryland had double that. They had 20 points off the bench. They shot not as good, but 42.3%, 30 for 71 overall. 12 for 31 on threes, 38.7%. 13 for 16 on free throws. So they both made the same amount of free throws. They only had 24 rebounds in this game, which is nuts. Just 24 rebounds, and they still won the game. It's because UConn couldn't stop the 3, and they were turning the ball over ridiculously. And the points on turnovers, of course. Points in the paint favored UConn in this game, as you could tell, because they were not in all the 2-pointers in the game too. Maryland had 19 assists, which is not a bad mark, but not as good as UConn. But they have 12 steals, 3 blocks, only 6 turnovers. When you're winning the turnover battle, you're going to help yourself the chance to win. They committed 2 more fouls than UConn with 17. But still, it does make sense why did UConn lose this game. It's unfortunate about the UConn injuries. It is. But you got to play through it. We'll have to wait and see how long on those injuries, because, Dr. Uhas still has an issue too. But UConn has to play 10-1 Florida State now. Remember, UConn kind of struggled with Princeton recently, a good Princeton team. But Florida State is only 10-1. And that's in UConnsville, Connecticut. They got Seton Hall, that's 8-3. That's not a pushover game. Creighton, they're 8-1. That's not a pushover game either. And they're in the top 20 currently. And it's not even on the road. Then they got Marquette that was in the top 25 until they were not this week. So, and they're 8-2. So the next 4 games are not really gimme games. Now, for Maryland side of things, what do they have coming up next? They have the following teams. And I'm only going by 4 teams in advance. Purdue, Fort Wayne. You should win that game in theory. They're 4-6. 5-5 Minnesota. You should win that game, especially at home. Granted, the Maryland game against Purdue Fort Wayne is on the road, but they should still win that game. They got 5-7 Rutgers. They should win that game. Currently, that's just a. And one more game out is Michigan State. That's currently 6-4. You get to host that game. You should win that game, but you never know, because I know right now, currently, Michigan State is pushing number 3 Ohio State to the limit right now. I mean, they're only down 3 with 7 minutes 33 seconds left in the fourth as of this recording. So, anyways, I just want to break it down like I do on a dance floor. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go to 400 subscribers or more by the end of this year or sometime in the future.